Welcome into the Yards After College podcast, powered by KSLSports.com. I'm your co-host, Kyle Ireland, and with me, as always, is the one and only, the sad Denver Broncos fan, like he is, at most times of the season. It is the one and only Sam Farnsworth. Sam, your team, I thought they might pull it out, but nope. They ended up falling to a division rival again. Sam, what's wrong with your team? My goodness.
They should have won the game. It's I'm not surprised they lost. I don't think anyone in Broncos country should be surprised that they lost, but surprised that they didn't win is a different thing, and that's what I am. I'm surprised they didn't win. I mean, yeah, they started a little slow, but they were getting cooking, as Russ would say, right? By the end of the first half,
he was cooking in the first half.
Yeah. He was looking good. Made me start to think, hey, maybe this Sean Payton, Russ Wilson thing is right.
Hope.
The Broncos defense looked great the whole game. I don't think this Raiders team is that good. And yet there they are in the second half, just confusing the Bronco offense and making some game-winning drives and game-winning conversions late in the game. And it's just kind of feels like Broncos are still stuck in the same rut they've been in for a while now. So, good thing is there's 16 more to go. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Just kind of hurts when it's a division opponent. My team was the same. Colts ended up losing it to the Jaguars. They had a lead in the fourth quarter. And then, an interception here, a touchdown there. That's all she wrote. So,
and not just a division opponent. Not just a division opponent. This is the Raiders, the Broncos and Raiders.
It was in Denver.
Yes.
Like at home, Sean Payton, it
was gross.
The revival, and then just to have it be a 1-point loss like that's pretty brutal. So, well, Sam, it's week one. I mean, we still have Monday Night Football tonight, so we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But week one is almost over. But my gosh, how about the locals in the NFL for the opening week of the 2023 season? Pretty impressive Sunday. And we're going to start off with your 3 stars of the week. Sam, let's start off with number 3. Who do you have?
Let's just jump right in with number 3.
Third star.
Okay, my third star is, drum roll. It is Seattle Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner, star number 3. 19 tackles in his season opening game. Return to Seattle, back. I mean, the ovation he received when he came out on the field was just electric. They loved having their guy back in Seattle. Then not only is he back home, but he goes out there and just obliterates the opposition with 19 tackles. It's a career high. His previous high was 16, I believe. He's going in to, what is this year, 13 or 14? I can't remember in his career. And he still has it. He's still amazing. He's still, just roughing it up with the opposition. 19 tackles. Bobby Wagner, star number 3.
Yeah, it's crazy. He, wasn't there obviously last year's with the Rams. So, I mean, having a year removed, and he's still the Seahawks all-time leading tackler, and he's just adding to that total. But to do it at his age and to put up 19, I mean, granted, his position kind of lends to getting a lot of tackles, but my heavens, I mean, he's just a machine back there. He looked good, and really cool to see him come out and get the ovation that he had there at Lumen Field. Sam, who is your number 2 star of the week?
Second star. Here it is. Another drum roll, and it is Packers quarterback Jordan Love. He's my second star. He came into the game. A lot of eyes were on him, wondering what he could do. He, comes into, we talked about it last week here on the podcast, a little bit about the quarterback class that he came in with and how they've combined for, well over 100 career starts. They've all, have several games under their belt. And this is just start number 2 for Jordan Love. Yet he was out there running that Packers offense with precision, with confidence, with He was staying cool and calm in the pocket, made some great decisions. Um, Good quarterback rating, completion percentage, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love, if you're a Packers fan, I don't know how you can't be thrilled with the way this season started for him.
Yeah, no, it was a lights out performance. I mean, I will say it started off a little slow. I watched the entire game and I was kind of like, you know, they're going to put it together, find some rhythm. Once he got that first touchdown under his belt, it was a dynamite performance from then on. And, the fact that he wasn't even the quarterback on the field for the Packers to end the game says all you need to know about how the Packers played. Because they demolished the Bears, Sam. I mean, it wasn't even
Yep.
close. And it was in Chicago. Everybody's hyped about, the pieces they added around Justin Fields with DJ Moore coming in, that trade that they made before the NFL draft. And, a lot of hype there. And the Packers just went in and they were the Packers that played the Chicago Bears and just kept winning. I mean, it was pretty cool to see how seamless that transition was. And I'm just really happy for Jordan, just for the fact that he's had to be patient and wait his turn. And we talked about it last week, like he said, but the fact that I was really hesitant and nervous going into the preseason, and then he played really well in the preseason, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was like he picked up from where he left off after that final preseason game. Just more touchdowns, really good completions. He does a really good job, I feel, at keeping the ball out of harm's way, and that's
Yeah.
something that when quarterbacks initially become starters, that isn't always the case. And so he
Mm-hmm.
seems like a poised veteran in that sense of things. And that was what Matt LaFleur actually said to Aaron Andrews at halftime, is that he felt that Jordan was really poised. And so I hope to see that kind of continue here
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the season, because it was a pretty good
He,
performance.
yeah. Yeah. And, one thing that stuck out to me too, going into this game, before this game even, was just every time he addressed the media in his press conferences and stuff, he didn't seem nervous at all. He has been there
Yeah.
before. Now, he hasn't started like this in a season opener before. He hasn't been QB1 before, but he's been around the block enough times, around the NFL scene, around NFL locker rooms, around NFL media enough that he was just cool, calm. He was just like, yeah, hey, we're just going to go out there and play. He sounded like an experienced veteran quarterback, just the way he spoke to the media. And then he looked like an experienced veteran quarterback in the way he played. And there was a couple of throws that really stood out to me. One, the one where the snap was kind of bobbled, hit the ground. He still picked it up, rolled, threw off his back foot, kind of across the field a little
Yeah.
bit, but still a deep ball off his back foot to his wide open tight end down there. Just great vision and awareness
Should
of
have
what
been
was going on.
touchdown number 4, Sam. Oh my gosh.
No, it should have been. It should have been. And he didn't panic when the ball hit the turf either. Many times you'll see a quarterback scoop that up and immediately look to, okay, I got to make something out of this and just
Yeah.
get a couple yards forward. No, he continued to roll and keep it, keep his composure as he looked downfield for a target, and he found one. The other one, I can't remember if this was a second or third touchdown, but it was a beauty. I mean, it was in the only spot that the receiver could have caught it. It was just barely over the top of the head of the defensive back, and you just kind of see the
Yeah.
hand stick up and pop like Velcro, and it was perfect, just like what you were saying. The way he protected the football, even when he made passes, to put it in places that only his receiver was going to be able to make plays on, was just outstanding.
One last thing on Jordan Love before we move on. I do think it's noteworthy to say that he was without probably his top wide receiver.
Yes.
And Christian Watson was a rookie last year, so I mean that's, I guess, could still be to be determined, right? But I mean, he was without Christian Watson. He had Romeo Dobbs, who he had 2 touchdown passes to, so there's a nice little connection building between those guys. But it'll be interesting to see how Love performs when he has his full complement of weapons. And it does help when you have Aaron Jones playing a pretty awesome game out of the backfield. That really does help alleviate things for a young quarterback. But I just thought that was a noteworthy thing to say, that He might not have even had his top guy out there, and he had a pretty electric performance. But Sam, who is your top star of the week?
First star.
All right, first star, Puka Nakua, the former BYU, former Orem High School star wide receiver. Jeremiah Jensen says it all the time. Jeremiah Jensen covered him in high school, saying that he's probably the best high school football player this state has ever seen. I know he thinks he's at least in that top 2 or 3 category, but just amazing what he did at high school, what he did at college, and for I don't fault anyone for not knowing who he was or who he is, or for maybe not expecting much from him. But for him to go out there in week 1 and to show what he did with the 10 catches, the 119 yards, it's kind of like for everyone who's watched him his whole life, it's like, yeah, that's Puka Nakua right there.
Yeah.
But even us, it's like, what? Like, I was kind of following along. I'm like, oh, he's off to a good start. Good. And then, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes later, I flip over. 9 catches? What? And then 10 catches? What's going on? And it was really, and they weren't just 10 catches, but they were catches. He was running excellent routes, very crisp. He was getting open. Stafford had 1 catch that was a little low. He just naturally sunk to his knees and was able to catch it right in his gut and immediately pop up to try to keep the ball going. He had that catch toward the sidelines where he had to reach for it and got both feet in. Puka Nakua, wow. I can't wait for more. Can't wait for more after what we saw yesterday. Should we expect more? I don't think we should expect more 10-catch games, but holy cow, the cat's out of the bag. If you didn't know who Puka Nakua was, you do now.
It'll just be interesting to see how many guys in fantasy football run to their waiver wire and try and add him this week. It was funny. I was listening to a couple other podcasts where they're like, I don't even know who this guy was. Like, he just kind of came out of nowhere. But a couple of notes on that performance. He led all rookies in week 1 with targets, catches, and receiving yards, which was pretty impressive. He's also the 4th player in NFL history to have that stat line in his first career game. And then he also was the Rams put out this. They said Puka Nakua recorded the most receiving yards in a rookie debut with the franchise. So pretty impressive to see what he was able to do with his first game there. And, Cooper Kupp's going to be out for at least 4 weeks with his injury. He's on IR. And so, Matt Stafford clearly trusts him, and
yeah,
nice little duo there with him and Atwell. And, we'll see if he can kind of carve out a spot. We talked about him last week as maybe that wide receiver number 3 there. I mean, maybe he's wide receiver number 2.
Yeah.
With that performance. So
in training camp, he had a practice in training camp where he was mic'd up. I don't know if you saw that or if anyone watched or listened. It was outstanding. And during that session, multiple times, at least in the video that the Rams released, multiple times he's over there chatting it up with Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's learning from him. He's asking him for advice. Kupp is kind of teaching him through some route running or the options that he has when he's running on his routes or whatever it is, and it's just, it's like he's doing it the right way. As a rookie, you go to the GOAT of your team. You go to the experienced veterans, the guys who have done it and done it very successfully, and you develop a relationship with those guys, a relationship good enough that they trust you too, and that they're going to help you along the way. And so I think that game 1 is just kind of the fruits of what Puka put in to his summer there with the Rams to prove that he belongs on an NFL football field and to pick the brain of his teammates, to learn, to continue to be that sponge. And if he continues to be that type of person, if he doesn't get high and mighty, which it's hard to think he would be, he's such a humble and nice guy. If he continues to be that guy who's just, focused on getting better, learning more every day, he's going to be around for a long time in the NFL.
Let's take a quick break, Sam, and then we'll come back and talk about a few other notes from the local guys in week 1, and then we'll look ahead to week 2 of the 2023 season. Welcome back to the Yards After College podcast, powered by KSLSports.com and the new and improved KSL Sports app. If you haven't downloaded that on your phone, go ahead and grab that from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. But Sam, a couple of other guys that had great performances in week 1 that easily could have earned one of your 3 stars. One of them, let's talk about, is former BYU running back Tyler Algier, who had a couple of touchdowns on the ground in the Falcons' win over their division rival, the Carolina Panthers. What did you think about where Tyler kind of picked up from where he left off a season ago?
Yeah, he was originally my 3rd star, but I could not ignore what Bobby Wagner did. So he was on the bubble, but you know what? It's kind of funny because we've been wondering ever since the draft in April how this was going to work out for Tyler. If the Falcons were just going to be like, hey, we got a new shiny toy that we want to play with instead of this one that we had last year. And in Bijan Robinson, and immediate, early in the game when Bijan had that receiving touchdown, I'm like, well, okay, here, this just might be the reality of what it is. But they continue to give the ball, at least out of the backfield, that running game, more touches to Tyler than to Bijan, and Tyler capitalized. He had a nice 20-plus yarder in the game, and then the 2 touchdowns were critical touchdowns late in the game to help them, put that game away. And so I think maybe they've got that 1-2 punch. It's only 1 week, but it seems like they've got, okay. And if you go back to last year with the Falcons, they kind of ran through 4 running backs at times,
Right.
And so, well, maybe they've got it narrowed down to just the 2, and maybe this isn't such a bad thing after all for Tyler.
Yeah, Cordero Patterson didn't play in week 1, so when he comes back, I'm interested to look and see how the touches go there. But 15 carries for Tyler as opposed to only 10 for Bijan Robinson. But I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast last night, Sam. I don't know if you listened to that, but he does his little overreaction kind of segment. And he was like, overreaction, is Tyler Algier the best running back in the NFL? And I was like, I don't think that he is, but it was an interesting conversation point to be like, Tyler is just really consistent. And, as a rookie last year, he kind of came on. Once they started feeding him the ball, he proved, hey, like, I'm a productive player. And, like, yards per carry, awesome. Touchdowns scored, awesome. I mean, if they keep feeding him the ball, he's going to keep producing like that. And I think that especially with the Falcons, I'm not sold on Desmond Ridder as their quarterback. And so having that 1-2 punch, like you mentioned there at running back, is something that I think that they're going to continue to show out and really just kind of lean on as an offense. But another guy, we talked about him last week, Sam. So I'm going to, pat ourselves on the back here. But former Weber State wideout Rashid Shaheed had an awesome week 1 game there with the New Orleans Saints.
What did I pick him as my breaking player?
I think he was your breakout.
I can't remember if he was my breakout player or my local offensive MVP. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed, that's the role I kind of anticipated him just really becoming this season. He started to kind of develop that role in the offense last year. Well, this year, again, we can overreact all we want with 1 week, but man, he was doing it again and just running great routes, getting wide open. He's got the speed in the hands to be a burner on the outside and to do some serious damage in the return game, which he was also back there returning their kicks and punts. So I think this is just the beginning of a special year for Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, so Rashid Shaheed was your pick for breakout player of the year, and mine was Jordan Love. And I feel like we're both looking good there.
On track.
I just think that like maybe some of those picks were a little hesitant, a little bold last week, but I like where we're at so far. Granted, like you mentioned earlier, we got 16 more games to go.
That's right. Yep.
A little bit of work left for us, but. Pretty fun week there for the locals in the NFL to open the season. We've got the Jets hosting the Buffalo Bills tonight in Monday Night Football. Pretty cool with the September 11th, remembering those that lost their lives on 9/11, but having it be in, a Jets home game there, and also Buffalo, another team from the New York area, and so pretty cool matchup there tonight. But it's also the rookie debut for former Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. So I'm excited to see how he kind of incorporates into the Bills offense tonight. What do you expect to see in his first NFL game, Sam?
It's also the debut of Dalton Kincaid on a Warren glass of shut the H up in fantasy football. I know that's a terrible name. I was trying to, how people pick up their fantasy football names based on players' names. I've got Jalen Warren on my bench, whatever. Anyway, I was going a little Happy Gilmore there.
Hey,
All
it's
right.
okay. I have 3 fantasy teams this year. I know it's a little overkill, but I went with Jonathan Taylor's version. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Hey, I think we both did underachieving with our names there, but that's all right. No, yeah, Dalton Kincaid, I'm excited to see what he does. I do need a few extra points in fantasy, so please throw him the football. But yeah, with Knox still there as kind of their leader, he did very well last year too. I don't expect a ton from Dalton Kincaid, but I'm really excited to see how they incorporate him into week 1, his very first NFL game, because nothing but high praise for him ever since the day they drafted him, all through camp, through the preseason. Everything you're hearing from Josh Allen, from his coaches, even from Knox is just, high praise. And so pretty excited to see what role he carves out for himself in this Bills offense this year.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a new look to the Bills offense with Kincaid. They've also got a new starting running back in James Cook. You've also got, I'm interested to see how the Bills defense looks. And then you've got Taron Johnson, another local guy on the Bills defense. But, this game is going to be fun because obviously you've got the Aaron Rodgers factor with New York. Their offense is going to be, a new look to it. But Jets defense has been talked up all offseason, how amazing they are. They're going to be even better than they were last year. And I'm interested to see. What if Dalton goes out and just carves them up?
Right.
It would be pretty fun to see.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Tuesday morning, Good Morning Football, they're like, oh my gosh, Dalton Kincaid. That's what I'm hoping for. But let's talk about week 2, Sam. We've got a full slate starting on Thursday night with the Vikings and the Eagles. Sunday night football, you've got Dolphins at the Patriots on KSL 5 TV. And then Monday night, we've got a double header. You've got at 5:15, you got Saints and Panthers, and then an hour later you have the Browns, who demolished the Cincinnati Bengals in their opener, taking on the Steelers there in Pittsburgh. But there's a bunch of other matchups there on Sunday. Is there a matchup or two that sticks out to you that you're looking forward to most?
I am excited to see if Tua and Tyreek can do that again on Sunday night. And obviously,
they on your fantasy team, or did you face them? Neither.
No, I've got Tyreek Hill on my team. Yes,
I faced Tyreek and I lost because of that man alone.
I mean, and then Tua, right? I mean, he's had his concussion problems and stuff, but and I know the definition of an NFL quarterback is evolving, but he is exactly opposite of everything that you say an NFL quarterback should be when it comes to like size and he's even left-handed and things like that. But man, he can sling it, and he's got good vision. And this isn't the first time. He's proven this in the past too. But to go for 400 plus in week 1, that was pretty cool. But the game that really I'm actually really interested in this upcoming week is actually that Chiefs and Jaguars game, because the Chiefs coming off a week 1 loss by a point to Detroit. I don't think that's who the Chiefs are. I think they're going to be a much better team than that. But also, I'm super curious to see about this Jaguars team. Trevor Lawrence played pretty well in week one. Travis Etienne did. This is a team that, of course, as you know, my AFC pick to get to the Super Bowl this year. So, look,
Yeah.
I think this is one of those early potential postseason rematches that we see early in the season. So I'm excited for that game. That's the game that's on my radar.
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville this time, not the Jags
Mm-hmm.
coming to Kansas City like it was in the postseason. You've also got Travis Kelce, who was out for the opener. I'm interested to see if they try and bring him back because they had some extra time with it being the Thursday night opener for them. So does, the extra couple of days of rest help him out and maybe he doesn't practice this week leading up to that? Or do they say, hey, let's give him another week? He's just so pivotal to how their offense operates and just clears space for Mahomes to work with some of those other wide receivers. Granted, they didn't do Mahomes any favors
Right.
dropping all those passes there in the opener, but I do
Can
like
you
that pick,
can
Sam. That's a fun game.
can you imagine what the overreactions will be if the Chiefs start the season 0-2?
Yeah,
I,
but
I
it's
wonder
kind of
if
like how it
people,
was. What was it? 2 years ago, they had a slow start, and everybody was kind
yeah,
of writing them off. And granted, they didn't win the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but it just Mahomes is so good that like as
yeah,
long as
way too
he's
good.
healthy, like you
Right.
can't really write them off, right?
Nope, can't.
Yeah.
So,
My
yeah.
game of the week, Sam, that I'm looking forward to the most, just based off of the locals and the NFL aspect, is the Packers versus the Falcons on Sunday morning. It's in Atlanta, but you've got Jordan Love, you've got Tyler Algier, you got Clark Phillips. I think Caden Ellis is on the Falcons now. I just think that that's going to be a fun matchup. I'm really interested to see because I think that Tyler's gonna, be a consistent guy for the
Mm-hmm.
Falcons. He's just proven too much over the last, 10, 11 games. But I really want to see Jordan Love do it again. I want to see him do it
Yes.
again. I want to see him do it again on a road game, back-to-back road games to start the season for Green Bay. So if he could, kind of mirror that performance in week two, my gosh, like the Jordan Love hype train will start getting rolling.
Yes.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah, it'll roll real fast, especially in Green Bay, right? So, and then to come home with 2 wins for his
Yeah.
home debut as the starting quarterback at
Yeah.
Lambeau would be pretty special. So, and then with Tyler Algier, personally, I get it. I still understand, maybe they've got the right 1-2 balance here. I kind of want to see him pushing closer to 20 carries. That's where I would like to see him at on a weekly basis. I feel like he could be I don't know, more of a threat in that range. But I mean, obviously he was threat enough with 15 carries in week one. So
Well, Sam, before we sign off today, do you have anything to tease for the upcoming week? I know we've got, high school football. We're kind of almost to that, I guess we're probably at that midway point now of the high school football season, actually.
yeah.
But then you've got college football is now,
Mm-hmm.
well underway. What do we have lined up on KSL Sports Live this week?
Yeah. Week 6 of high school football already in the state. There are several future locals in the NFL out there. I promise you that we're seeing some amazing performances already. And at the college level too. There's a lot of great locals with ties doing big things. Jeffrey Bossa at Oregon was one of them. Jackson Dart at Ole Miss was one of them. Those are 2 guys that are probably going to be in the NFL someday as well. KSL Sports, myself, will be in Fayetteville, Arkansas this weekend for BYU's big game in SEC country. And then, of course, on Sunday, we tie it all together in one big, pretty bow with high school, college, and all of our locals in the NFL on KSL Sports Live. So
Yeah,
football is the theme.
love that Sunday night package, Sam. You guys throw together
Yeah.
all the highlights, and that's something that I'm just from the digital aspect of things where I cover. I am jealous because you guys get to use the video, and due to copyright, I am limited. So
So
be sure to check out KSL Sports Live all week long, especially on the weekends there with Sam and JJ and the crew. If they do a great job, as always, you can find Sam on social media at SamsWorth_TV, and you can follow me at Kyle Ireland on Twitter. or X, whatever we were calling it now, and at Kyle Ireland KSL on everything else. But until next week, this has been the Yards After College podcast powered by KSLSports.com.